Now, the emergency department at the Colchester East Hants Health Centre in Truro was one of 4 to be locked down during the shooting rampage. They treated several victims that night. The CBC's Carolyn Ray spoke with Dr. Jan Sommers, who heads the department, about the challenges of dealing with the shooting situation during the pandemic.
Being a small town, it's not typical to receive gunshot wounds. So we did receive a patch saying that there was a situation developing that involved a shooter. We really didn't have a lot of information initially, and so even just receiving that type of a patch is a little bit out of the ordinary for us. Because of the COVID crisis, we've actually been really well resourced. We've had extra staff on. We had an additional physician in the facility who is also an emergency physician who happened to be working on the COVID unit. Which, is always nice when you're facing a situation like that. Because we never know what's going to walk through our door, we're always talking about different types of scenarios. So we had, in fact, as a facility, done a tabletop exercise regarding a mass shooter situation within the last year. I never thought I would be using the knowledge gained in that exercise. I think dealing with COVID has become so day-to-day for us that, we practice and rehearse the requirements that COVID has, required of us to, use PPE, to remain physically distant. So we followed all of those procedures. I think as the night went on and it became more clear what happened, you certainly start to need to have some human connection that's, made difficult by some of the requirements that COVID has created for us. So it was a challenge.
So it was getting emotional in there?
I'm not sure I can describe the stillness of an emergency department that's waiting to receive victims that don't come. So, yeah. It got emotional for sure. You might have a good day the day after and it hits you 4 or 5 days later. The NSHA has definitely been trying to provide support for the emergency department staff, and we certainly would really like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the loss that the community has experienced and pay our respects to the families who suffered so much during this tragedy, and also our colleagues in the RCMP and EHS. We do feel as though what we experienced likely pales in comparison to what they have lived through, and we just want to acknowledge the sacrifices that they've made.
You were reluctant to do this interview, but why did you want to? What message do you want to get out there?
We want the community to know that we recognize that this isn't just an incident that happened on one day, that the fallout from what has happened will likely continue for weeks to months. And we want the community to know that we are here for them and that we want to support them in any way we can. And also that we are prepared for what is going to come through our door, and that despite being heartbroken about what's happened, we'll continue to serve the community in whatever way we can.